Hello everyone, my name is Amay Bangale, and in this talk I'll discuss the complexity of approximating linear equations over non-abelian groups. And this is joint work with Subhash Kaur. So our main result is about getting the optimal hardness of approximation for satisfiable k-array linear equations over any finite non-abelian group. And the approximation factor depends on the property of the underlying group. So more specifically, it is 1 over the size of the commutator subgroup of G. So before we see the definition of linear equations over a group, let us look at the general problem called constraint satisfaction problems. An instance phi of a CSP consists of the following: a set of variables taking values from some domain sigma, a collection of local predicates. So these predicates operate on constantly many variables. And finally, a set of local constraints C1 to Cm on the variables. Each constraint is a predicate applied to a set of variables. And the goal is to assign values to the variables that maximize the total fraction of satisfied constraints. And the value of an instance phi on an assignment sigma denoted by val of phi sigma is the fraction of satisfied constraints when the variable's assignment is sigma. And finally, the value of an instance is the maximum over all the assignments, the value of the instance on that assignment. So here are a few examples of CSPs. In 3SAT, the domain is the Boolean alphabet, and uh, and there are 8 predicates. Each one excludes one assignment. And using these predicates, one can express any clause. For instance, this clause x1 or x2 bar or x3 can be expressed using this predicate p0, 1, 0. And another example is not all equal over an alphabet queue. It has only one predicate, and it is true if all the 3 inputs are not equal. So for many CSPs, many CSPs are NP complete, which means that it is NP hard to decide if the instance is satisfiable or not. Satisfiable means that the value of the instance is 1. And hence, to overcome this difficulty, one can study approximation algorithms for it. To define to define it formally, an algorithm for a CSP is called alpha approximation if it outputs an assignment that has value at least alpha times the optimal value. And here alpha is a number between 0 and 1. So it is a simple 7 or 8 approximation for 3SAT. Just pick a random assignment. That is, for each variable, you assign 0 or 1 uniformly at random and independently. And it is easy to see that each clause is satisfied with priority 7 or 8. And in expectation, this will satisfy 7 or 8 fraction of the clauses. So an important question that we would like to understand is to characterize the approximation threshold for every CSP. In other words, given two values C and S, between 0 and 1, where S is at most C. If the instance has value at least C, can we find an assignment with value at least S in polynomial time? And if we can't, assuming P not equals to NP, then we say that the CS gap version of the CSP is NP hard. So here C is the completeness parameter and S is called the soundness parameter. So there was a huge success in answering this question, and this was the result by Raghavendra, who showed that SDPs and appropriate rounding are optimal algorithm for any CSP. But there are two conditions. First is that this result is based on the unique games conjecture. And the second is that the result loses tiny constant in the completeness case. So therefore, it is not enough to show NP hardness of 1, S gap CSP. That is, if we know that the instance is satisfiable, then what is the best approximation factor that can be achieved? This question cannot be answered by Raghavendra's result. And in this work, we are interested in precisely this question for a special CSP called linear equations. So before I talk about the general problem, let us see the CSP 3-lin over the Boolean alphabet. So here the variables take Boolean values, and the constraints are linear equations over 3 variables. So the constraints could be of the form x1 plus x2 plus x3 is 1, or x1 plus x2 plus x3 is 0. And here again, if we choose a random assignment, then each constraint is satisfied with priority half, and hence it gives a half approximation. Just a note, in this talk, I'll focus on 3-lin. However, similar things hold for k-lin, which was in the title of the talk. So for 3-lin over Z2, if the instance is satisfiable, then one can in fact find a satisfying assignment in polynomial time. And this is simply by doing Gaussian elimination. And we'll see this when we talk about a general group. But what if the instance has value at most 0.99 or anything which is less than 1? In this case, it is not clear if one can find the optimal assignment. And this is for a reason that we'll see in a couple of slides. So next, let's define linear equations over any abelian group. In this case, the constraints are of the form x1 plus x2 plus x3 is equal to b, where plus is the group operation and b is an element of the group G. And in this case, Goldman and Russell showed that over any abelian group, if the instance is satisfiable, then one can find a satisfying assignment in polynomial time. And this takes care of the previously mentioned algorithm for 3 lin over Z2. So here is a proof sketch. First, by the structural theorem of abelian groups, any abelian group is isomorphic to direct product of cyclic groups. And using this, we can convert any linear equation, which is on the left-hand side, over G to K linear equations over the respective cyclic groups in the decomposition. And thus the problem of finding satisfying assignment over G reduces to independently solving K systems of linear equations. And therefore we can assume that G is a cyclic group, just to prove this theorem. Now, if M is prime, then we have a system of linear equations over a field, which can be expressed as AX is equal to B, where A is a matrix. And this can be solved using Gaussian elimination. And if M is not prime, then using similar rows and columns manipulations, one can diagonalize the matrix. And this gives a polynomial time algorithm if the instance is satisfiable. So coming back to the earlier question, when the value of the instance is less than 1, the seminal result of Hastad shows that in this case, it is NP hard to find an assignment with value 1 over the size of the group. And in other words, an optimal algorithm in this case is to choose a random assignment, because that algorithm satisfies 1 over G fraction of the constraints in expectation. And in this work, we study the complexity of solving linear equations over non-abelian groups. And so here is the definition. So here we fix any finite non-abelian group G. The variables take value from G, and the 3 linear constraints are of the form this, where a1 x1 dot a2 x2 dot a3 x3 is equal to b, where dot is the group operation, and a1 a2 a3 and b, these are the group elements. So what is known about the complexity of 3 linear over finite non-abelian groups? So Engebretsen, Holmgren, and Russell in 2004 extended the result of Hastad to every finite group. So they showed that if the instance over a non-abelian group has value 1 minus epsilon, then it is NP hard to do better than the random assignment. So earlier result of Hastad worked only for abelian groups, and this result works for finite non-abelian groups. So one small technicality in the result is that they allow inverses of variables in the left-hand side of the equation. So this is what was known so far. So the first way is, in the abelian case, it's easy. If the instance is satisfiable, one can find a satisfying assignment in polynomial time. Then if the instance has value less than 1, then it is NP hard to do better than the random assignment. And the same thing is true for non-abelian groups. But what if in the non-abelian case, what if the instance has value 1? What if the instance is satisfiable? Can you find a satisfying assignment, or can you do better than the random assignment? And in this work, we answer the last question. So the soundness depends on the underlying non-abelian group, and we'll need a few definitions to understand the expression. But unlike the abelian case, if the given system of linear equations over a non-abelian group or a finite non-abelian group is satisfiable, then it is NP hard to find a satisfying assignment. And this was shown by Goldman and Russell. So in a sense, you really need the abelianness property for the Gaussian elimination to work, or to diagonalize the matrix. So the next question is there a better approximation algorithm? And surprisingly, there is. And we need a few group theoretic definitions first. So the commutator of G and H is the group element G inverse H inverse GH. This is denoted by square bracket GH. And the commutator subgroup of G is the subgroup formed by all the commutators of G. So here are a few examples of commutator subgroup. The commutator subgroup of S3, which is the permutation group on 3 elements, is A3, which is an alternating group, set of all even permutations. And if you take a quotient of S3 by A3, then the group is isomorphic to, then the quotient group is isomorphic to Z2. The commutator subgroup of GLNQ, which is a general linear group over FQ, these are n cross n invertible matrices over FQ, is SLNQ, which is a special linear group over FQ. These are n cross n invertible matrices with determinant 1. And if you take quotient of the general linear group by the special linear group, then the quotient group is isomorphic to the multiplicative group of FQ, which is FQ star. And this is true in general. If you take a quotient of any non-abelian group by its commutator subgroup, then the quotient group is always abelian. And this is called the abelianization of G. And we'll crucially use this property in an approximation algorithm. So the commutator, and also one important fact is that the commutator subgroup is the smallest normal subgroup of G. So that the quotient group of the original group by this subgroup is abelian. So the commutator subgroup being the smallest such subgroup is crucial in getting the optimal approximation algorithm. So here is the folklore approximation algorithm, which is quite simple and elegant. So take the group H, which is the group obtained by quotienting G by the commutator subgroup. H is an abelian group. So next we convert every equation over G to an equation over H as follows. So you replace every group constant in the equation by its respective coset in H. And for clarity, I'm replacing the variables xi with yi's in the equations over H. So now if the original system of linear equations over G is satisfiable, then the equations over H are also satisfiable. And this can be seen by just taking the satisfying assignment over G and replace it with their respective coset, which is an assignment over H. And this will satisfy the equations over H, the equations in red. But H is an abelian group, and we can in fact find the satisfying assignment in polynomial time using Gaussian elimination. So let sigma be the satisfying assignment over H, and an assignment sigma I to yi is an element of H, which is a coset of G. And finally, to get an assignment for the original instance, for each variable xi, we select a random element from the coset sigma I. And this satisfies the equation with probability 1 over Gg, 1 over the size of the commutator subgroup. And to see this, look at a linear equation in blue, which is satisfiable over H. Now, if we take any elements from 6 out of the 7 cosets, then one can always find an element of G from the 7th coset that will satisfy the equation over G. So in other words, no matter what we choose for Z1 and Z2, there is always an element in sigma 3 that will satisfy the equation over over G. And this happens with probability 1 over the size of the commutator subgroup, just because we pick assignments for Zi's or Yi's uniformly at random from the respective coset. Okay, and this gives 1 over the size of the commutator subgroup approximation algorithm for satisfiable linear equations over non-abelian groups. And our main theorem shows that the previous algorithm is indeed optimal. So for any epsilon, given a satisfiable k-array linear equations over G, where G is any finite non-abelian group, then it is NP hard to find an assignment with value greater than 1 over the size of the commutator subgroup of G. So just for example, so if you take the set of permutations on n elements, then the size of the commutator subgroup is of size half times the size of the group Sn. And for abelian groups, the size of the commutator subgroup is 1. So, okay, and now this completes the picture of the so in the non-abelian case, when the instance is satisfiable, you cannot do better than this factor 1 over Gg. So our main result also gets an improved 3-query probabilistically checkable proofs. PCPs, they give a way to verify correctness of a proof without reading the whole proof. The verifier has access to randomness, and based on the random points, the verifier probes a few locations in the proof, and based on it, it decides whether to accept or reject the proof. So here are a few important parameters in the PCP. First is the number of queries. Second is the alphabet size. The proof is written over some alphabet, and that's the alphabet size. And the third is the completeness parameter. This is the acceptance priority of the proof, when which we want to be as high as possible. So so the completeness is the acceptance priority of the correct proof, which we want to be as high as possible. And the fourth one is the soundness parameter, and this is the acceptance priority of any incorrect proof, and we want this to be as low as possible. And if we invoke our main theorem for perfect groups, that is groups where the commutator subgroup is the whole group, then we get a PCP over an alphabet of size q that has three queries. That queries three locations, has completeness 1, and has soundness 1 over q. And this improves the previously best soundness that was known for three query PCPs with completeness 1. So it was 1 over q plus 1 over q square, and we improved it to 1 over q. So I'll just mention the starting point of a reduction, and it is the hardness of the label cover. So label cover, an instance of a label cover consists of a graph and an alphabet sigma, and there's a constraint on each edge, which is just a function from sigma to sigma. And the goal is to assign labels to the vertices that maximizes the fraction of satisfied edges. And an edge is satisfied if you look at the labels to the endpoints of the edge, then those two labels satisfy the constraint on the edge. Okay, and the famous PCP theorem and parallel repetition theorem by Raz, it shows that even if the label cover instance is fully satisfiable, it is NP hard to find an assignment with that satisfies at least epsilon fraction of the edges for any epsilon greater than 0. And so this is our starting point. And we also need some extra properties on the graph of this label cover, but I will not go into it. So instead, I'll focus on the main component in the reduction, and the main component is designing the dictatorship test with perfect completeness. So let's start with linearity test over abelian groups first. So given a function from g to the n to g, we would like to test if f is a linear function or far from a linear function. And I'll not specify precisely what far means here, but you can think of it as being far in terms of the Hamming distance. So the test has to query f at a few locations, and then based on these evaluations, either accept or reject. And in the completeness case, if f is a linear function, then the test should accept with high probability. And in the soundness case, if f is far from a linear function, then the test should reject with high probability. And here is the BLR linearity test. Select two inputs x and y from g to the n uniformly and independently. Set z to be x plus y, where this plus is the group operation g in g, and accept if and only if f of x plus f of y is equal to f of z. Now, is it easy to see that if f is indeed a linear function, then the test accepts with priority 1. And the non-trivial part is to show the soundness of the test, which is 1 over the size of the group. And in order to get the hardness result for trillion or abelian groups, Hastert came up with the following dictatorship test. Here again, we would like to accept dictator functions with high priority. So dictator functions are the functions of the form f of x1, x2 up to xn is equal to some xi. And in the soundness case, if f is far from a dictator function, then the test should reject with high probability. So here is a test, here's a sample test. So sample two inputs x and y uniformly and independently. Set z to be equal to x plus y. Now here's an extra additional step that you add. For each coordinate I with priority epsilon, you perturb zi. So with priority epsilon, you resample zi from the group G. And now the acceptance criteria is the same, except if and only if f of x plus f of y is equal to f of z. So here, because we perturb each coordinate with priority epsilon, the dictator functions, they pass the test with priority 1 minus epsilon and not 1. And Hastert showed that the soundness of the test is 1 over the size of the group. And in this case, we lost perfect completeness, and that was necessary in the abelian case. So our main technical lemma is to prove the soundness of the following dictatorship test for functions over non-abelian groups. So here is a natural test. So select x and y from G to the n uniformly and independently. For each I, set zi to be equal to yi inverse xi inverse, and except if and only if f of x dot f of y dot f of z is equal to the identity element in the group, where dot is the group operation. So note that here we are not perturbing each coordinate of z, and that's why the completeness of the test is 1. As for the I dictator, we are checking if xi dot yi dot zi is equal to 1, and this is true by definition, by the definition of zi. And we show the main technical contribution of this work is to show the soundness of this test, and we show that if f is far from a dictator function, then the acceptance probability can be upper bounded by 1 over the size of the commutator subgroup. So typically, Fourier analysis over abelian groups is used in analyzing the soundness of the test. And in this work, we use representation theory and Fourier analysis over non-abelian groups to analyze the soundness. So just to highlight connections with the previous results, so our soundness analysis is motivated by the following interesting result by Gowers. So I assume some basic knowledge about representation theory just for this slide. A group is called, or a finite non-abelian group is called D quasi-random if every non-trivial representation of G has dimension at least D. And what Gower showed is that any product-free subset, so that is a subset where product of every two elements in the subset lies outside the subset. So Gower showed that any product-free subset of a quasi-random group is small. And in contrast, in any abelian group, one can find a product-free, in this case the sum-free subset of constant fraction. And the analysis of our dictatorship test implicitly relies on the quasi-randomness of the group. So to conclude, this work settles the inapproximability of 3-lin over non-abelian groups. Our proof also works for k-lin and gives a similar hardness result. And in an upcoming work with Stankovic, we get the same hardness result even if one restricts instances to have constraints of the form x1 dot x2 dot x3 is equal to some group element. So here we got rid of the group constants from the left-hand side. To end, here are a couple of interesting open problems on which the techniques from this paper can shed some light. So first is, can this technique be used to get better k-query PCPs with perfect completeness? And there is a huge gap between the known upper and lower bounds in the soundness parameter. Another ambitious goal is to characterize the inapproximability of satisfiable CSPs. And this question is wide open. With these two questions, I will end my talk. Thanks for listening. Bye.